All right, let's get right into it. When you hear the word constitution, it's easy to picture some old, dusty legal document, right? But the Indian constitution, it's something way more ambitious than that. It's not just a rule book, it's a blueprint, a really detailed visionary plan for building the world's largest democracy, basically from scratch. So let's unpack that blueprint together. And it all kicks off right here with these incredible opening words from the preamble. And trust me, this is not just some flowery language. This is the mission statement. This is the core promise that the architects of modern India made to every single citizen. It really sets the stage for everything else. It's the soul of the nation they were trying to build. Now let's just zoom in on one of those huge words, republic. You see, picking this word was a massive, deliberate choice. They could have easily just copied the British system with a king or queen, but they said no. They chose to be a republic, where the head of state, the president, is elected. Just that one word makes it crystal clear that the ultimate power doesn't come from a royal bloodline. It comes from we the people.
Okay, so we've got these incredible promises baked into the preamble. Justice, liberty, equality. But how does a document actually deliver on something so huge? Well, that's exactly what we're about to get into.
So, how do you actually go about delivering on promises that big? You need a structure, right? An architecture for how power works. This is where the blueprint gets into the nitty-gritty, laying out the whole machinery of the state that's designed to turn those big ideas into reality. Let's see how they put it all together.
So the framers went with a parliamentary system, kind of like the British one, but with a really key twist, an elected president instead of a monarch. And this comparison to the American system is super revealing. The crucial thing to notice in India's choice is that the executive, the people who run the government, are also part of the legislature. The prime minister and their ministers are in parliament and have to answer to it. This creates this direct line of accountability, which was seen as absolutely essential for a brand new democracy. And check this out. This shows another really unique feature. India is a federation, a union of states, but it's a very specific kind. The American model is often described as an indestructible union of indestructible states. But India, it's an indestructible union of destructible states. What does that mean? It means the central parliament can actually redraw the map and change state boundaries. This was a really practical decision, all about putting national unity first in a country with just mind-boggling diversity.
And that whole idea of national unity is also why India has a single citizenship. See, unlike in the US, where you're a citizen of your state and the country, in India you are simply an Indian citizen, period. This was designed to make sure that someone from, say, Tamil Nadu wouldn't be treated like an outsider in Punjab. It guarantees the same rights for everyone, everywhere. It's just another brick in that foundation of a single unified nation. So, we've looked at the architecture of the state, the big machinery. But what does all of this actually mean for you, the individual? Well, this brings us to the real heart of the blueprint, the tangible, legally backed guarantees it gives to every single citizen. And here they are, the fundamental rights. This is the absolute bedrock of protection. Just think about the right to equality. It means it doesn't matter who you are equal in the eyes of the law. Or the right to freedom, which guarantees your voice can actually be heard. Now, these aren't just nice suggestions. They are solid promises, backed up by the full power of the courts. You know, this quote is the perfect example of how these rights aren't just stuck in the past. The Supreme Court of India, which acts as the guardian of the Constitution, has interpreted them in really expansive ways. For instance, it decided that the right to life doesn't just mean the right to not die. It means the right to live a meaningful life, a life with human dignity. This shows the blueprint is a living, breathing document that's evolving right alongside the nation. And that brings us to our final section. The framers were, frankly, brilliant architects. They knew that a blueprint for an entire nation couldn't be set in stone. It had to be adaptable. It had to be built to last through all the changes to come. One way it adapts is through amendments. And this timeline gives you a sense of just how dynamic it's been. We're talking over 100 changes. The 42nd Amendment in 1976 was so huge, people call it a mini-constitution. And then later, in 92, they passed amendments to give real constitutional power to local village and city governments, bringing democracy right down to the grassroots level. This just goes to show you that flexibility was built right in. But that flexibility has its limits, and this is the genius safeguard. In 1973, the Supreme Court came up with something called the Basic Structure Doctrine. It's a landmark idea that basically says, yes, Parliament, you can amend the Constitution, but you cannot destroy its soul. You can't change the absolute core of it, things like democracy, the rule of law, or secularism. It's this incredible balancing act between adapting to the times and protecting the fundamental identity of the nation.
And finally, we have this powerful quote from Dr. R Ambedkar, the main architect of the whole thing. He was responding to critics who said they just copied ideas from other countries, and his point was so clear. This wasn't plagiarism. It was a really thoughtful process of studying the best ideas from around the world and then carefully adopting them to fit the unique, messy, beautiful needs of India. It was all about building the best possible blueprint for this specific country.
So, from its profound promises to its complex architecture and its amazing ability to evolve, the Indian Constitution is just a remarkable document. And that leaves us with a final question to chew on. As India keeps changing and facing new challenges, how does this 75-year-old blueprint continue to guide the future of more than 1 billion people?